branch compound. Now, if the compound contains 4 or more carbon atoms, you can technically form what we call isomers, right? And isomers are compounds which have the same molecular formula but different structural formula, right? That's the thing. So we know about the structure, we know about molecular formula. So isomers, so first thing on the branch compound is isomers, right? So we have same, but different. Right, so now the example, if we have butane. Right? Now, the molecular formula C4H10, because it's CnH2n plus 2, so 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2, 10. Right? If you go back to the general formula for alkanes, right? Now, if you notice here, we could technically have 3 carbon atoms in this straight chain, and then we put another carbon atom there, right? Remember, whenever you're doing these diagrams, all carbon atoms must have 4 bonds. So, for example, if we have this carbon atom here, 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds. So as long as a double bond is not here, you have to use another hydrogen atoms to complete this space, right? So remember that at all times in organic compound, carbon atom must have 4 bonds, and the hydrogen atom will always have 1 bond, covalent bond. Alright? Now, if you can see, what's the molecular formula for this? This is structure, molecule. What's the molecular formula here? 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms, right? How many hydrogen atoms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You realize that the structures are different, but the molecule is the same. Molecular formula. The structure. Formula that is, right? Remember that we're talking about formula, right? Now, these two compounds, they will actually have a slightly different, even fit, they are different compounds actually, because they will have different melting and boiling points. So different physical activity, right?
Properties.
Good. Different physical properties, right? Even though their chemical properties would be the same because they're all alkanes, and alkanes would have the same types of chemical reaction. Physically, they are different, so they'll have different melting point and boiling point, for sure. Alright? So this is butane. This is 2-methyl propane, right? And now let's get into the terms that we use for branch. Alright? So if you notice here, this branch have 1 carbon atom. Alright? And we know when 1 carbon atom is normally a meth, but because it's not a straight chain, it's a branch, So when it's a branch, it's methyl, ethyl, propyl. And those are the three that you have to be familiar with because they're unlikely to give you like a chain that branches 4, right? Alright, take this from and then use the term. Because this is now a new term that you would not be so familiar with. Alright? So the 2 here is representing the carbon atom in which it's on. Alright? So we will label this as carbon 1, 2, 3. So this 2 here is coming from the branch is on carbon number 2. So it is 2-methyl propane, as in 3 carbon atom is the longest chain. So those are stuff that we're going to discuss as we go along. But I'm going to use some more complex examples so you'll get the concept. Clear? Remember that you have to read about naming compounds, alright? Carbon in branch take a note of that. Alright, the name of any branch chain molecule has 3 parts. The first part gives the number of carbon atoms to which the alkyl group, in bracket the side chain, is attached. So these, when the group is branched, 1 carbon atom or 2 or 3 carbon atoms, the general term for them is alkyl. That is what it's like YL. So ALKYL. So you can see the YL here. It's a branch, meaning it's a branch and not a straight chain. Alright? So if you want to put this on, okay. So 1 carbon atom, so methyl will be C. So remember, when I have it like this, you can see I did not put the 4th carbon here because that should be attached to something else. It's straight chain. Here, example of this. Alright. Alright. The 3rd part, name. Longest. Continuous straight chain. as you can see, the 2 was stating which carbon atom the methyl group is on. So that is how we get this 2 here. So 1, 2, 3. Oh. Alright. Name of alkyl group. So this methyl would be this group that is here. Because this branch have only 1 carbon atom, which will be the second part of the name. And the third part was the longest part chain, which is the propane. So longest chain, 3 carbon atoms. So 1 there. Let me just 1, 2. Let me just circle these so you're not confused, alright? Alright, that's how we named that one. No. And then we will discuss like compounds that are the same. Alright. Because if a structure, for example, if you should put a bend at the end of a carbon chain, it's not a branch. It's actually just the straight chain, just the same. Alright, I have to teach you some stuff like that in which students normally make mistake, right? So if the quote-unquote branch is at the end, it's not a branch, it's still a straight chain, alright? So name the following molecules, alright? Alkenes, let's just keep it to alkenes at the moment, alright? Or a little kind of, right? The board is not large enough. Number 2 is new, so I'll see what they do. And number 4 is tricky. You should be able to do 1 and 3. Alright, so another thing that I did in part 2. So when you are naming a branch in alkenes, you name it so it has the lowest possible number. So you start to count the carbon atoms in the long chain with the branch using the lowest numbers. So don't let, if it's a possibility that the branch may have a 2 or a 5, use the 2. So you count from the direction in which you have the lowest number. Alright? And with that said, can I put a 5 here? Alright, let's go. Alright, remember this is the first class. Alright? So the longest chain, 1, 2, 3, 4. Other possibility 1, 2, 3, 4. same 4. Alright? So it's either, this is either the methyl group or this one. Following? So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Can we go 1, 2, 3, 4?
No.
No. Why?
Pass the branch.
No, that's not what I want for the answer. The reason, no. Why we can't label this 1, 2, 3, 4?
Because we want the shortest one?
No, because we want the number that is going to represent the branch to be the lowest number.
Oh, so it'll be the head of the
Yes, so that is why I want to label 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we could label this as 1. It's the same thing, really. Alright? No, it simply means the principal step that I give you for the name. So the first part is going to tell the number on which the alkyl group is on. So this is going to be 2, right? Alkyl group have 1 carbon atom, it's a methyl. So we put the number, we now put a dash between the number and the letter here, right? And then what's the longest chain is 4 carbon atoms. So a carbon, an alkane with 4 carbon atom, what's the name of that? Butane, alright? Right? So if you should go ahead and label 1, 2, 3, 4 and put 3 methyl butane, it's wrong. It would be incorrect. But that's not the name. Alright? Correct name is 2 methyl butane.
Is methyl butane just one word?
Yes.
Okay.
It's one word. But you still need to have it in your brain as into how we came up with the name, as in what it's representing. That's why I put a 3-step pointer as in what we normally take into consideration to make up the name for a branch compound. Now, compound number 2. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. As we can see, the longest chain is 3 carbon atoms, right? 1, 3. Now, the issue that we're having with this one now is that we have 2 branches and this carbon atom. Good? No. We're not going to say 2 methyl, 2 methyl. We're just going to say 2, 2 dimethyl. Clear? Right? So this 2, 2 is saying that we have 2 methyl group and carbon number 2. So it's 2, 2 dash, the di here meaning 2 of them again. So it's 2 things we are using to representing, stating explicitly in the name that it's 2 methyl group. Both indicating that we have 2 numbers and the dimethyl here. And then the propane is the longest chain. Now, some students might ask, if we put the di here, why do we need to put the 2 on the 2? Reason being, if it was a longer molecule and the 2 methyl group is not on the same carbon, then it would be 2 different numbers here. Following? Good, so that is why we have to put 2, 2 here. We cannot just put 2 dimethyl. We have to put 2, 2 dimethyl, indicating that both methyl groups are on the same carbon atom.
Okay, so in other words, one of the branches would have been at 3.
If it was a longer, if the longest chain was longer.
Okay.
Good. What about this compound? What's the name of number 3? Put some, so we don't get confused, alright? And they are so close. What's the name of number 3? Is it a branch or it's an unbranched compound? That's the first thing you have to figure out.
Unbranched.
Unbranched. How many carbon atoms do we have?
5.
And what's the prefix that we use for 5 carbon atoms?
10.
Good. So what's the name of this compound? It's an alkane. Guys, has all single bonds. Name? What?
Is it pentane?
Good. A-N-P. So it's pentane. Here. Number 4. Do we have a branch in this compound?
Yeah.
Where is the branch?
At 1, the first compound.
Yeah, and that's what I'm telling you. It's not a branch.
It's a main.
If you want to say it that way. It's just a straight chain. Remember that the molecules, even though at C-sec level, we're not showing the correct angle and orientation. These molecules are not rigid and stiff. They are free to, the bonds are free to bend and move, just not separate, right? So even like this molecule, we could technically even bend it here. In reality, it can bend and vibrate, alright? So this molecule really is the same thing as this molecule. It's actually not a branch, alright? The branch actually cannot be at the end.
We should tell that first.
I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. The branch cannot be at the end, alright? Or if it's a branch, notice where we have branch. Like if it's a branch, then the carbon atom we have only like one hydrogen attached to it or none. No hydrogen. If you notice here, this carbon which we are saying that it's branch actually have 2 hydrogen atoms there. Normally if it's a branch, the carbon atom which the branch is on should have like 1 or no hydrogen atom attached to it. That's another way in which you can determine if it's a branch or not. Apart from that, if it's at the end, it's unlikely to be a